more than 2. We have made 4 groups: no previous surgery associated with laminectomy in case of stenosis, previous surgery, and osteoporotic fractures. It's the number of cemented discs amount to more than 200. I mean, the mean is 2.5 discs cemented by patient. Of course, it's quite difficult to make a true assessment of ODI score, for example, because the population is very inhomogeneous. Here, an 87 years patient is very stiff with kyphosis. Only 2 discs are moving, but these 2 discs the end plate are osteosclerotic. The discs are with vacuum phenomenon. He had pain at this level. He got rid of the pain the day after the cemento discoplasty. Of course, we will not correct the sagittal balance, but the patient is really happy without pain. Another example, Parkinson's disease. It's a very evolutive condition. He has very severe low back pain for more than 1 year. For me, it's not an indication for surgery anymore. On the other hand, there is no good conservative treatment. He is with morphine without no result. And only cement discoplasty has improved his condition. 1 year after, he's not walking anymore, but he has no low back pain. The result, the analysis was made by my friend Nicolas Bronsard from Nice and Virginie Laface from New York, and it confirmed what has said Peter Varga, has reported Peter Varga. We can get a real pain relief the day after with cement discoplasty, and it's statistically significant. Of course, at 8 months follow-up, the VAS score is around 2.5, and excellent results are only observed in 15% of the case, good result 60%, unfair and poor result 25%. But you see the indication is quite difficult good indications are quite difficult to find. I sent a questionnaire 15 months later to the patient, and I got 30 answers. Now VAS score is around 3. It's because of aging, because of many factors. We cannot say it's related to cement discoplasty. It is the same result as vertebroplasty. An example, pain relief and sagittal balance improvement, spontaneous sagittal balance improvement. It's not rigid, so the patient is able to use his muscle to rebalance. But 30% of the patients don't have a transitory result or have a poor result. Let's have a look on this old woman. In 6 months' time, his thorax drops. The weakness of the muscle is very important. And you see the result just the day after. It's outstanding because she has no more collapse of the thorax, she has no pain. It's the day after cement discoplasty. Unfortunately, the evolution of the osteoporosis, the severity of the weakness of the muscle, she's not able to maintain her thorax. So you see, she's getting worse in the following months. And at the end, the result is not really good. She has always refused any kind of surgery. So she will stay like this. But you see, the lumbar spine has no more collapses. The evolution of the thoracic spine in this case. So, as a conclusion, the debate is wider, according to me. Aging spine, in one hand, we have a very aggressive solution. Screws, rods, extensive instrumentation, based on a sagittal analysis, pinopelvic parameters, and with a very high complication rate. On the other hand, 15 years ago, I just dropped a posterior instrumentation, and I operate only with Alif Stanlow. The problem is the disc space height. Then we use another method to do the analysis. It's a pendulum rule criteria, because we use the muscle to help the patient, to enable the patient to rebalance his thorax. And cement discoplasty is the same philosophy: disc rigidification, thorax stabilization concept. What does PCD has changed in the strategy, at least? We can use cement to reinforce the anterior column in association with posterior instrumentation. But we all know that the complication rate is very high in all patients. And it can be, I do feel that it's unacceptable in very old patients. So we have to find another solution. That's the reason why I do operate now only by anterior approach, this kind of pathology. We focus on the collapsing zone, the painful disc, what is happening in the spine to explain the deformity. It is a physiopathological analysis, and we can always reopen the disc using a frame. Of course, whenever there is osteoporosis, we have to add vertebral augmentation to avoid the main complication, the vertebral fracture, and to limit subsidence. And for the upper risk, to avoid another aggressive surgery, to put another cage, we can fill the disc with cement. So there is a mixed solution. We mix the procedure in order to avoid complication. It's a less invasive surgery. The spontaneous restabilization uses the muscle of the patient, and you see how with breathing the thorax rebalance. You see the evolution with the time, 81 years old. Of course, osteoporosis will go on, but she's pain-free. We don't have that much complication than with posterior instrumentation. It's a good alternative to extensive surgery. That's the reason why I advocate for PCD now, because PCD is the same philosophy as ELIF. It's more simple, less invasive. We can mix it with other procedure in association with posterior instrumentation or with cages. For Peter Varga, in the round table, definitively it's clinically proven. And all the Hungarian surgeons use it. And he has taught many surgeons around the world who use it in elderly population. I do really think that it's useful. It's an individual decision, patient by patient. Of course, we cannot solve all the pathology of the patient. Thank you very much. Спасибо.
Спасибо большое. У нас есть 8 минут для дискуссии. Угодно ли кому-то задать вопросы? Andres, can you sit down here? Есть у кого?
Andres, I want to ask you about tactics of treatment for osteoporotic patients. You said you recommend that rest osteoporotic treatment for 3 weeks. It's really true, even because rest it's increased level
of course, I mean, you're absolutely right. But we have kind of standards in conservative treatment. If you only do conservative treatment, it's recommended to have a rest up to 6 weeks even. And I believe that's way too long, especially for our older population. I mean, we have to get them out of bed and get them mobile, back to function as soon as possible. So I would never do that myself, to lay them down in bed and rest them for 6 weeks until maybe the fracture is kind of healed, but it will never occur because we know if there is no mechanical force on the bone, it will disappear even more.
Thank you. And do you pay attention to the chemical indicators of osteoporosis when you use any medicine for treatment?
Of course, I mean, this is, even though I'm an orthopedic surgeon and I love surgery, of course, I mean, what we do is usually screening our patients, find out the risk factors, if they have more risk factors. But we have concluded in our guideline committee that if there is a spinal fracture, we can start treatment right away. I don't need a DEXA measurement for bone mineral density. I don't need to look for more risk factors and so on. We could start right away. And it was just published, and you know that, the so-called Vero trial with teriparatide, which compared teriparatide, an osteoanabolic drug, with a bisphosphonate in severe osteoporosis, and all the vertebral fractures is severe osteoporosis. We should start. There's enough evidence now. We should start with an osteoanabolic drug, even though it is expensive. I know that, but we have to discuss that with the companies. We have to see what we can do. But there is clear evidence that we should start treatment right away, first of all. And second, we have enough evidence now from the Lancet study published in November last year that we should start with an osteoanabolic drug, in that case, teriparatide. But more osteoanabolic drugs will come up, and we will have more options to treat that.
Вопросы в зале не возникли? Да, пожалуйста.
Скажите, пожалуйста, на фоне системного остеопороз
Там микрофон
происходит
есть, это.
вертеброгенный перелом? Скажите, при вертеброгенном переломе на фоне системного остеопороза мы начинаем с оперативного лечения или все-таки консервативное лечение и потом через определенный временной интервал уже операция?
Ну, если позволите. Дело в том, что, видимо, я, наверное, плохо материал доложил, как хирург. Действительно, мы все-таки начинаем с консервативной терапии, но ведь в зависимости от той клинической ситуации, которую мы имеем, с чем приходит к нам больной. Если к нам приходит больной с болевым синдромом, который на фоне терапии нестероидными противовоспалительными препаратами, на фоне терапии стероидами регрессирует, и пациенты через 2-3 дня беспокоятся гораздо меньше, он активизирован, говорить об оперативном лечении нет никакого смысла. Если пациент, и мы говорим о стандартной нормальной консервативной терапии. Если пациент нестабильный перелом с неврологией, интенсивный болевой синдром, который мы не можем купировать какое-то за короткое время, то тогда мы можем поднимать разговор о том или ином оперативном вмешательстве. Объем операции зависит уже от соматического состояния пациента, его представлениях о том, что он хочет получить в ответ на лечение и так далее.